Here in the South, plenty of folks are gonna choose a pork chop over a steak. This pork chop fought a chicken in a Waffle House parking lot and won. I brined it like a true gentleman. I smoke it low and slow like Snoop Dogg gets past it from the left. And I glaze it so thick that it pitches a tent for two. Now, none of that makes sense, but the bourbon's flowing heavy. But I can guarantee if you stick around for this video, I'm gonna give you the best technique for smoking pork chops on the Weber Smokey Mountain. Damn, it's hot. Damn cicadas. This is Fork and Dimbers, and I'm Joe. I make barbecue that pretty much anybody can pull off. No fluff, no flexing, just fire, smoke, and food that hits as hard as a gospel choir in a dive bar. Now look, pork chops don't get the love that they deserve. In the South, we appreciate our pork chops. They're cheap, they're meaty, they got bone like a ribeye, and if you treat them right, they slap, like slap your cousin at a reunion slap. And this technique that I'm gonna show you is how you make a pork chop matter. We're gonna brine it so it's juicy all the way through. We're gonna low and slow smoke it on the Weber Smokey Mountain. Then, we're gonna hit it with a sear, and we can glaze it off with some hot honey. It's optional, but it adds heat and sweet. You're gonna get color, juice, crust, and a pork chop that tastes so good your dad might finally say he's proud of you. Oh, and also I started a Patreon, so if you want to build a barbecue community, get more content, recommend content, check it out. The link's in the description. Now, let's smoke something. These fucking cicadas are crazy. First thing you need for this recipe are some pork chops. Now, I went to my local butcher and I got center cut pork chops. I also had them cut them to 1.5 inches thick. I want them thick because I'm gonna be low and slow smoking them. And thin pork chops are gonna cook up well before they get much smoke flavor. So what you can do if you don't have a local butcher, go to Kroger or Walmart, and they usually have something called Duroc pork chops. And they usually cut those considerably thicker than regular pork chops. About 1 inch thick would be fine.
Those pork chops look wonderful.
First thing we want to do though is brine this. Very simple, let me show you what we need to do. All right, to make this brine, we got about 1/4 water in this pot. First thing we want to do is take 2 Guajillo chilies, and we actually want to toast them. Do it kind of lightly. We don't really want them burnt. I think it's good. Toss them in that water. It doesn't take but a couple seconds. Go ahead and put the water in the pot. Next, we need to add salt. We need to do 1.25 cups. Next, let's add 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2/3 cup of soy sauce. Let's do about 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. And lastly, we want to do 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. So once everything's dissolved, turn the heat off and set it aside. Then you want to get a container and put 4 quarts of cold water in it. Then take the brining solution, pour it in. Now we're ready to put the pork chops in. This is gonna be good for about 6 1.5 inch cut pork chops. You can see these are pretty thick. They left the rib meat on some of these. I asked them not to. This is an extra piece of meat right here. But you know what? Not that big a deal. It's still gonna be pretty delicious. So now I'll put a seal over top of this, throw it in the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours. Even if you only have an hour or 2, you're still gonna end off better than you started by doing this. So I'll see you after we take these out of the refrigerator. So for the rub, very straightforward, very simple. You wanna start off with 2 tablespoons of salt. Then you want 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar. It doesn't burn as easily as dark brown sugar because it doesn't have as much molasses in it. Then you're gonna do 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons of ground mustard. If I said tablespoons, I meant 2 teaspoons. Yeah, you don't want to put 2 tablespoons of that in there. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And lastly, we're gonna do some ground chipotle. You can just put as much as you want in there. I did about a teaspoon. Mix it up. And there you go. You're ready to put that on your pork chops. These have been brining for a few hours, and now it's ready for us to dry them off and season them.
Access denied.
So, most important thing is probably getting them as dry as possible, because that's gonna allow us to get a really good bark on there. We don't want too much moisture on them. They probably won't smoke but like an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on how low your temperature is and how thick your pork chops are. The butcher ended up leaving the rib meat on here, so I actually have some pretty big pork chops. I'm not mad at it though. Like I said, we'll just have some really big ass pork chops. So get you some paper towels, start drying. All right, next thing you want to do, take that seasoning, put a good coating all over the pork chop. Make sure you season those edges as well. A lot of times people forget to do that. Not around here. I like to season with my hands as well because it gives you a little bit more control than if you're using a shaker. I'm going to tell you, it is so hot out here in Kentucky, like humid. We got the apocalypse going on, I guess. We got tornadoes, we got cicadas. You can probably hear them in the background. The end of days. But you know what? We're gonna go out with some good barbecue. Okay, now that we've got those seasoned up, let's talk about how we're gonna use the smoker. All right, I'm gonna walk you through using a Weber Smokey Mountain to make the best pork chops that you've ever had. First thing you need to do is get a charcoal chimney, and we're gonna fill it completely up with unlit charcoal. Once you do that, pour that in the bottom of the Weber Smokey Mountain. Then we're gonna fill this up with charcoal about 1/4 of the way up, and we're gonna essentially do the minion method. If you don't know what that method is, or any of the other methods for that matter in the Weber Smokey Mountain, check this video out up here. I explain all of it. Go ahead and light that charcoal, and what we're gonna do is when it's lit, we're gonna throw it on that unlit charcoal. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and throw some cherry wood on. I like using cherry wood because I like the color that it gives my food. It also does a great job of not over smoking a food. But I also like hickory, so do whatever you want. Use what you have and what you like. If you're in Texas, use post oak. If you're in the Carolinas, use hickory. Don't really matter that much. Then we're gonna take the cooking chamber, place it on the bottom part, and make sure you leave the water pan in, but don't put any water in it. Then put the lid on, and we want to run this smoker at 225 to 250. I know you're probably thinking that's going to be pretty difficult to get down to 225, 250. Well, what I like to do is close off all my vents till there's a teeny little bit of oxygen. The Weber Smokey Mountain leaks enough to where you don't have to worry about it really going out on you. So if you turn those vents way down, you'll be fine. Once you get it to 225 to 250 consistently, let's go ahead and throw those pork chops on. Now we're gonna smoke these pork chops until they have an internal temperature of 130. At this point, go ahead and take them off and let them rest inside. They're gonna come up a few degrees with a little bit of carryover, but not a lot. Then we're gonna disassemble the Weber Smokey Mountain. This is why you don't put water in a water pan. And we're gonna place that top grate down there on the coals, because what we're gonna do is actually sear off these pork chops. Let them coals really get to cooking. We want them really hot. We want almost every coal in that thing lit. Bring your pork chops back out. Go ahead and sear them off till you get a really nice char, the color that you like. But I like to really get a little bit of black on the fat pieces. After you get done charring them, go ahead and hit them with that hot honey glaze. Now this adds a little bit of heat and sweet, and it's very simple to make. It's 1 cup honey, 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar, some crushed red pepper, some cayenne. I'll put those ingredients in the description for you. Very easy to make. Go ahead, glaze them up, and you're ready to enjoy the best pork chops that you'll ever eat. It's hot out here, man. We got cicadas. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, these things right here look insane though. I'm ready to try this. Oh, it cuts like butter. That looks really good right there. Let's give it a try. Smoky, got that char from that sear at the end. You can't beat that. Wow. You make pork chops like this, you ain't gonna make them no other way. So that's it, folks. The Weber Smokey Mountain did its thing. So did that pork chop. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and go ahead and check out my Patreon if you want more barbecue. Until next time, stay smoking.